What's going on, guys? With Unbreakable finally arriving, there is a lot of new content for Too Many Bones, and so far it's some really good content. I've been really happy with it. But with all that new content, how does it store inside of this Trove Chest? So I thought we would take a look at how I store it. I know Chip Theory Games put out a video proving that it could all fit, but I do things a little bit differently. So I'm going to show that off today and hopefully give you guys some ideas about maybe how you can set yours up. And if you have any ideas for me that you see that maybe I could change up, please let me know in the comments. I'd be interested to hear that. And if you guys don't know, I do a lot of live streams here on the channel, and I've been covering bones a lot lately. There's a lot of playthroughs. So if you like that sort of stuff, check them out. Let me know what you think. Some of them are a little rough, but I think that's just how bones goes sometimes. But then other times, you know, we have some pretty epic moments. So if you guys like that sort of stuff, maybe I'll catch you on the live stream. We have a lot of fun on there. So without further ado, let's open up this bad boy. I'll show you how I store my bone stuff, and we're just going to start at the top and then work our way down. So starting with the top tray right here. So first up, you can see the Unbreakable Adventure Map. Let's just start at the bottom and I can show you from there. So let's get this stuff out of the way. So on the bottom here, we have the Tyrant Die reference sheet for Splice and Dice and the Age of Tyranny reference guide. I'm not going to be using this stuff as much, so it can just go right there on the bottom. Next up, I'm going to put the Splice and Dice rulebook, followed with the Build the Tyrant sheet like this. And then from here, I'm going to put the 3 rule books. Now, the edges of these rule books are a little bit thicker than this side, so I actually kind of stagger mine. So I'm going to put the edge on this side. I'm going to flip undertow so it's a little bit thicker over here. And then I'm going to switch up Unbreakable again. Then I have all of the reference sheets for all of the gear locks. This is riffle included. And then on top, I'm just going to have the Garg and then the Baddie skills reference sheet. So I'm just going to set that on top of here. And then I have both of the play mats, the one for undertow and the core box, and then for Unbreakable. And both of those are just going to rest right on top of here. So you might be noticing that I have a box labeled Trove Loot. And I'm going to get into this more when I get to the drawer with the play mats and the cards. But the Trove Loot is going to be stored separate, and I do have it in this deck box. So I like to keep the cards in the deck boxes. Again, I'm going to go over all that when I get to that other drawer, but for now I have all of the Trove Loot inside of this. For now, while I'm playing through Unbreakable and I'm keeping it separate, I do just have these turned around, so then I can easily distinguish these are for Unbreakable. Once I go through all of the Unbreakable Tyrants and Gearlocs, I am just going to shuffle all these into this card. So all of the Trove Loot fits into this one box. And I thought this box was cool because it's kind of like this brown, orangish chest almost. So I kind of fit the Trove Loot. And I just have it labeled for now just so I can remember while I'm still learning this system a little bit. Next up in this deck box is all of the extras, the tokens and the dice for Age of Tyranny, as well as the Boon and Scar cards. It is loose in here. I tried to use a baggie for the stuff, but it just didn't fit exactly how I wanted it to. So for now, it is loose. So you just have all this stuff laid out right here. There could be a way to have a little bit better of a system, but for now, this works for me. Again, I'm not going to be going through the Age of Tyranny stuff all too often, so it's okay to kind of sit like this in the box. And I kept all that stuff in this new Rage of Tyranny deck box. The name is so close, you know, to help remind me what exactly is inside. And plus, this artwork on this box is just sick. So the last thing we have over here are some Gearloc specific stuff that just couldn't fit inside of the Gearloc trays. So on top here, we have the Carcass recipe cards. We have the Lab Rat backup plan information, and then we have Riffle's deck box right here. Underneath of those, we just have some information cards. So for 40 Waves, Rage of Tyranny. So while I'm still getting fully acclimated about, you know, how to integrate and stuff like that, or if I need to reference something, I still have these cards. In the future, these will probably just go away once I fully understand. So those are underneath, and it's very easy to get to this stuff. So like if you're playing Riffle, you know, you just take off these cards and now you're good to go. And you can see here at the top, there is still some room for another playmat. So possibly for another Gearloc that's going to be released in the future. Hey, you can hope, can't you? All right, next up, let's take a look at the character dice trays. So here we have every single Gearloc that's been released, riffle included, and you'll even notice there is a box right here. And this actually is the Gearloc Child. I keep the Gearloc Child in the original box, and it fits beautifully right in the corner over here, with still space for another Gearloc tray over here on the side. And even when it's full with other Gearlocs, it is still very easy to take out because it's got this lip on the lid, and you can easily just stick your finger in there and pull the Gearloc Child out. I like to keep it this way if I'm not playing with him. It works stored this way. There's still a little bit of space here, so it's not too tight. This is just how I'm keeping them right now. In addition to that, there are some Gearlocs that have tokens, like Polaris and Gale right here. I was just able to put them in baggies and stick them right on top of their Gearloc chip. It works out. They're snug. They're not too loose. It's just working for now. So I'm just going to use this system. It might change in the future, but like I said, it just works. So let's put these guys back, and then we will check out the playmat and card drawer. All right, so let's check this one out. This drawer right here, we're going to spend some time with this, and this is one that might actually change the most for me in the future. We'll see. All right, so right off the bat, let's talk about the playmats. Let me first get them all out, and then we can kind of go over some stuff. So we're going to take all these out. And so on the bottom, I'm going to have the Age of Tyranny and Splice and Dice, Create a Tyrant stuff on the bottom. Again, I'm not using this stuff as much, so it's fine to stay on the bottom. Next up, we're just going to, any old Gearloc, doesn't matter, and just start stacking them. Now, one thing that I did even before the Unbreakable Gearlocs came, one thing I noticed that I didn't like, and that I'm now seeing some comments on some threads, is that with the stitched edging, these edges are a little bit higher than the actual playmat itself. So once you keep stacking them on top of one another, the edges really start raising faster than the playmat itself. So what happens is once you get to the top, you have the mats that are really bowed because the outside edges are being raised. So what I did to fix that was I just started stacking a lab rat on top, and that really starts to flatten them out. You can tell this is already flattened here. And then so I just add a lab rat occasionally. Now that does mean that the lab rats aren't together, but to me, that's completely fine. I don't mind that at all. It works out. You're going to have to be digging through the mats anyway to get a Gearloc that's down towards the bottom. For me, it's not that big of a deal if I have to keep searching for a few more lab rats that are mixed up. I much prefer this and not having it be bowed like that over top of, just having easier access to the lab rats. And then here, we'll just set this guy here. Good old Helix on top of Riffle. And then we'll just set these mats. Got to keep static on top. We're going to be playing static on the channel next. Really excited about that. Oh, Carcass. Oh man, I gotta redo Carcass, man. I feel bad about that playthrough. He's strong, man. I really like him, but that playthrough just did not work out. And so now it's a lot flatter than it would be if you didn't stack them. And then after that, I just put the battle mats on top, and I got rid of the core box one because the lane layout is exactly the same. It just adds the mechs, and plus you already have the raft on the other side. But in addition to that, I just like this mat in general better, even if I'm not playing with mechs, just because it looks more like a battlefield, and I really like that. So that is how this is gonna lay. Next up, let's talk about the cards, and you can see, like I was mentioning on the top tray, I'm using a lot of deck boxes. I like the deck boxes more. And the main reason, there's two reasons. One, it's much easier to just pull out the deck box, and then I can just pull out these cards and then shuffle them like that. But the bigger reason for me is when I had them loose, and I tried it loose, and I might still go back to that, and I'll tell you why. But when I had them loose, and I don't even know if I want to do it right now or show you, but say I do have these special encounters over here loose, all right? If I have some space in here, I've just noticed so many times, you see how the cards are falling over? And if they go flat and land on, flat on the bottom, it is such a pain for me to have to dig them out because, once these cards get flat on a surface, there's not much wiggle room for like a fingernail or something like that. So it can just be a pain to pick these cards up. That's the main reason why I like the deck boxes. But plus, I got so used to using the loot box like this and putting it into that little tray that comes with the Trove Chest that I just kind of like this system. And you can see these just constantly fall over. So the only one I have loose right now is the special encounters and then the loot for Unbreakable. So let's just go through this. I have the over on this side. In this box, I have all of the special day 1, 2, and 3 encounters. I used to keep Undertow and the Core separated, and then I might just mix in the Age of Tyranny special day 1 and 2s. But I think at this point, I might just shuffle them all together. So if I'm playing like I need 3 special day 1, 2, and 3 encounters, I'll just use Undertow as well, shuffle them in. I think that's okay at this point, especially because I'm playing on this mat from Undertow, so it can easily flip to the raft side if for some reason I need it. And it can just spice it up a little bit more as well. But I think that's going to be the way that I play going forward. I'm going to keep all the general and the solo encounters for Unbreakable, Undertow, and the Core separated. But again, I think it's okay for just the special day 1, 2, and 3s. And if I ever need to just say, let's just play strictly Undertow, then I'll just dig these out. That won't be a problem. But I think, like I said, I'm just going to mix these up going forward. And, I think I'll be absolutely fine with that. So after this box, let's put this back in here first. And I should say that I do have, so over here I mentioned I have the special encounters, and I do have the special encounters divider all the way on the side here, and then separating the special encounters with the special 1, 2, and 3 days. I have the day 1, 2, and 3, and day 1 through 3 encounters right here. So just dividing those. And we'll put this back in here. And then so for on this side, let's put this little, and I do have a blank separating the day 1, 2, and 3s, and then these 2 decks right here. So these 2 decks are the solo encounters. In this one right here, I have everything for Undertow and the Core box, as well as 40 Days and Automaton of Shale. So what I'm doing right now, and this is the way that I've been doing it for quite some time, the Automaton of Shale and the 40 Days I'll just have on top, and then dividing it with this cover sheet right here from the Core box. Really like this artwork is just sick. So I'll divide them, right? And then I'll have the Undertow down here, especially with the 40 waves coming. There's a lot more solo encounter cards. So I'm just going to divide them with those cover sheets like that. So then if I'm playing Undertow, what I have been doing is I'll just take these solo encounters and then just mix in 40 Days and Automaton of Shale. Again, it's been absolutely fine for me. I've been playing like that for quite some time. Or if I'm playing the Core box, I'll just shuffle in 40 Days and Automaton of Shale. It's been working, keeps it a little fresh. I think right now, with all of the 40 waves coming, I think I am going to strictly just play with these for now instead of mixing in 40 Days and Automaton of Shale. But after I go through these enough, I'm just going to go back to that method of just mixing this stuff in. I don't mind this stuff at all. If with these encounters, you're already using this board anyway, so it's completely fine for me. But yeah, so I'm keeping all of those in here, and again, I'm just dividing them. It works, easy to go through and pick stuff out, and that is the solo encounters. Over here in this box, I do have the solo encounters as well as the special days 1 and 2 for Unbreakable, and then they're just going to be divided by this cover sheet, which is, God, this artwork is awesome, man. But that's going to be for Unbreakable. There is plenty of solo encounters, which I'm happy to see. So I'm just going to keep all this stuff in here. To me, dividing it from the
other solo encounters, I might, and here's what I might do. I might one day mix in all of the undertow 40 waves with the core stuff and just do a massive combine. I think that might be okay. You're going to be using the mat from Undertow anyway, which is, has the land battles, has the raft on the other side. So I think that could work. Thematically, you're going through Daylore, right? You're on this adventure. You're going through a forest. You're going to come up to some water spots too, right? Maybe come across a river and a raft. So thematically, to me, it kind of ties in. And then if I do mix them up, it still would be easy to say, let's play with more water encounters and mech encounters. Then we'll just separate the undertow stuff at that point. I might try it. We'll see what happens, but I think it could be fine. But for now, I'm still going to divide them, and I'm just going to keep them in this box again because they kind of tie in loosely thematically. But Unbreakable is a completely different beast, right? You're in the caves, underground, lava and stuff like that. So these are like never going to be tied in to these solo encounters because it'd be weird, like on the top surface, you're on a raft one time and then the next time you're underground and there's lava popping up everywhere. So we're just going to always keep these separated. And again, I just have the days 1 and 2s. And I know that they're in here, so if I ever play with the general encounters, I'll just go through this box and get these bad boys out. And that is going to be the Unbreakable stuff. And then I have the solo encounters dividing that. And then here I have the big loot box. Now, again, I just mentioned I really enjoy just taking this out, taking all of the loot, which is a lot, shuffling it up, putting it back in this box, and then sticking this in the tray that comes with the Trove Chest. And then so after I'm done the encounter, I can just close this box up and put it back in this. But now with Unbreakable, there is just too much loot to fit inside of this box. So for now, while I'm playing through Unbreakable, I am just going to keep the loot loose and separate. When I'm finished, I am going to incorporate it into the rest of the loot. I'm still trying to figure out exactly how to do that. And that's one thing. I might actually just get rid of this box, do all of the loot cards loose in here. Maybe. I'm still trying to play around with that system. We'll see. Because again, I do really like just pulling out the loot, setting it in the box or in that tray, and you're ready to rock. But for now, while we're still playing through Unbreakable, it is loose. So I still have to figure that out. And then over here, we have the general encounters. So right here, I have the core box. And it's cool because it's like this nice satchel. So these are all the general encounters for the core. And then over here, with the 40 waves coming, I thought it was perfect for Undertow. And I got the raft and the adventure picture right there, which is awesome. So I'm keeping all the Undertow stuff in here. And then over here, I have the general encounters for Unbreakable. And, it's got this art right here. So the art's going to help me distinguish, what's what. And I thought it was cool. Again, I love the art on the deck boxes. I think the deck boxes are really nice, and it just helps me to pull it out. And in my opinion, just get it to the table a little faster. And plus, I eliminate that problem of the cards falling over and getting stuck on the bottom. I hate that. So now it does fit inside. The only thing you might have to do, or at least I have to do, this sticks over this edge a little bit. So just while I'm pushing it in, I just have to make sure that edge is down. But past that, it just slides right back in. And I have no problems at all pulling it out. The playmat doesn't get stuck on there at all. Again, that way might change for me in the future, but for now, it's really working out, just pulling out those deck boxes. It's fast for me. I just like it, and it works. I might have to, like I said, once I incorporate the Unbreakable loot into the rest of the loot, I might have to figure out something from there, but until I get there, this is what works. So next up, let's take a look at the Tyrant Trays. We'll just do the top one here first. Let's get this bad boy out. All right, so top tray, we have all of the Tyrants from the core and Undertow, and we also have this deck box down here labeled Campaign. I know you guys saw the Trove loot deck box was also labeled with a sticky note. I'm still debating on how to label these. For now, this works, but I'd like to get some sort of, either transparent,
you know, it could even be a piece of tape and just write this on there, or maybe some sort of cool sticker to put on top. I'd like to customize it a little bit more, but I'm still, you know, trying to figure out how to do that. But inside of here, we're just going to have all the campaign cards for, you know, Age of Tyranny, all the epilogue cards, Undertow, all the Undertow epilogues, and then also the Unbreakable epilogues as well. So these are all of the campaign cards. It's just going to go in here. And that fits beautifully in here. Again, I'm not going to need these cards as much, so it's okay to just be separated from the main section of cards. And inside all of these Tyrant trays, I do have the new Rage of Tyranny cards and, you know, the dice, and if it comes with other chips, it all fits in here. The only one that's a little tight is the Goblin Queens, because she's got all of that new loot. So it sits a little raised over the edge right here, but it's not a problem. And I do just want to say, man, these loot cards, they are dirty. They are dirty. So that is all of the Rage of Tyranny stuff fitting inside of there. And I do, if you guys didn't see before, I don't know if I showed it off on the last Trove Chest video I did, but I go all out. So I got like a label, like one of the stickers on the top. I got one right here, and then I even label the bottom. I go all out, man. I love this sort of stuff. I love the organization. It's fun for me. It's fun. Hold on. How did Gendrix get back in here? Dude, I thought I threw him in the trash. I guess his limit ability deleted my trash can, so he came back. But yeah, don't like Gendrix at all. So that is the top tray, and let's now check out the bottom Tyrant tray, because there is something else I want to show off in there. So same deal. We have the new Tyrants for Unbreakable right here. We have, you know, the Build a Tyrant, Nobulus. We have the Splice and Dice stuff. Also here, I have another deck box which has the Splice and Dice cards, the Knob cards. You're going to have the Apprentice cards. So all of that stuff is going to go in this deck box here. And again, still trying to figure out exactly how to label them, but for now, this works. And I do just want to say, if you do this, make sure this lip is, you know, facing that way, because again, you could just stick your finger right in there, grab on that edge, and just pull it right out. And that really works for me. One thing I did want to mention is the Automatona Shale. If you got the extra trays, there is one for the Automatona Shale. But if you use this kind of system, even if you didn't stick these deck boxes in here, it's not going to fit. So what I did, I actually just found the Tyrant that didn't have much stuff, like not much dice, not many chips, because some of them do, especially with the Rage of Tyranny and stuff like that. Some of them have a lot of content in there, a lot of chips, a lot of dice. I tried to find one that didn't have much, and that was Lockyear. So I took Lockyear's tray, and I actually put in the Automatona Shale. So there he is right there. And I have the cards underneath of Lockyear's Automatona Shale. It fits in there nicely. And what I did was, so I have Lockyear labeled right here. And I actually took one of the stickers, I cut it down slightly, and I labeled it with the Automatona Shale. So now what happens is, if you stick this on top, you can see both of them, Lockyear and the Automatona Shale. So that just really works out for me. You can see both if you're just peering through. At this point, I know Automatona Shale is in with Lockyear, but it's still really helpful to just be able to look, and you can still see it very easily. So that is the Tyrant trays. So here, I thought I didn't have the focus on, so I thought I'd turn it on and I'd show you a little bit better. So that's what it looks like. And it really works out. Again, I had to cut this down a little bit, just slightly, and you can still see like his full artwork right there and the full name. It works, and this is fully on, so it's not going down anymore. And I'm really happy with this. You can really see it easily from on top. So again, that is the Tyrant tray. So now let's work on the bottom two trays. All right, so let's start with the left tray first. And I do just want to say also, this is the system right now. This could change. If there's a slightly better way to do it, I probably will change. But for right now, it is working. So let's take a look at this. All right, so here's the overview. First up, let's take a look at the health tray. So if you guys don't know, for quite some time now, I actually got rid of the regular red health chips, and I actually got colored health poker chips that were the same color as the lane markers. So I could get rid of the lane markers as well, and I could just use, the health chips could just be, the lane marker identifier. And so I have 10 of each of these 4 colors. I haven't seen a need to go over 10. It fits nicely as well. There are some encounters that might say, give an enemy, go over its max health or something like that. Something special in the encounter. But I do have 2 gray 3 health chips over here. And then along with the, for the Gearloc, I have all of these red chips as well. Now, I play mostly solo, so this is enough for me, these red health chips. Again, I am going to have some storage, so I do have a lot of extra stuff. So just in case I do play with more Gearlocs or, whatever the case may be, I do have more if I need it. It's just, since I play mostly solo, this is what I'm going to keep in the Trove Chest. That's easily accessible. So here, and then plus with these poker chips, I found it easier to identify how much health I have because of this, these white indicators. It's just helpful for me. I've been using it for a long time now. I really like it. And I haven't seen a need to go back to the, adding a lane marker and then the red health chips. It's just easier to identify that's a guy from lane 1, that's a guy from lane 2, so on and so forth. Here, I do have the new day tracker, the new thicker one from Unbreakable. I really like this. I didn't have a problem with the old one. You could just stick your fingers on there and turn it as needed. You can still do that with this one, but it is also nice. You can also stick your fingers on the sides and turn it as well. Either way, I really like it, so that is going to go in here. And then I have the lanes 3 and 4 right here. And right here, I haven't found a better place yet. We'll see. I was kind of keeping it right here, but this is the new Gearloc tracker, progress tracker that came in Unbreakable. There's 2 sides, a blue and a orange side. So for right now, it works. I've been using it a bunch lately, so I haven't seen a problem with it, but that's just going to be put right there. And again, this could change, but for now, it works for me. I could just get this out, and I have all of the lanes, the progress, and the day tracker right here. Next up, we have this Baddies Tray for Unbreakable. There are a few other extra things in here, but for the most part, this is all Unbreakable baddies. I don't have enough of these chip dividers. I kind of figured there would have been some that came in the new Tyrant and Gearloc Trays that you could get from Unbreakable. I thought there was going to be a few more, but there aren't. So for right now, we have the Break Baddies, Bog, Orc, and Trolls. These are all the baddies that came in Unbreakable, as well as the, the 40 Caves. So right here, this is all just 1s, 5s, and 20s. These guys are always going to be separate, and I'm debating on putting another sticker here. I don't think there's a need, and I think it's just going to work with the break. In the other chip dividers, you have, you can put numbers on there, 1, 5, and 20 to differentiate them. But I think we're just going to keep it like this because I don't have enough dividers anyway. We'll just keep them all together like this. And then we have the Bog, Orc, and Trolls, like I was just mentioning. I don't know if I'm going to incorporate these guys, these 3, into the core and undertow, just mix them all in. I think I'm going to. The only one that I saw might not be able to. I thought it was a Bog type. Yeah, he's got Flame Soak right here. So, but everybody else, I think I went through, and they don't have dedicated skills to the Unbreakable playmat. So I think I am going to incorporate it. If I draw this guy for some reason, or maybe I'll keep him separate with Unbreakable stuff, or if I draw this guy, maybe I'll just draw a different 20-point baddie, like if I'm playing on the core or undertow mat. But for now, this works, and these are 1s, 5s, and 20s that came in Unbreakable. Over here, we have some promo stuff. We got Tink with the snowball. He's making the snowball. So these are some promo stuff that don't fit inside of the Gearloc trays. Tink's tray is already full from his bots, and Gilly's tray is already full from his pets. So that is just good. I haven't found a different space to put these, so they are just going to sit there for now. And again, this, I might incorporate these into the other baddies at some point, but for now, while I'm playing through Unbreakable only, I just have this dedicated tray to that. Now, for the rock and lava chips, I actually used this chip tube, I guess you could say, with this hand. It's like, this is, I believe this is from Unbreakable. I think this is 40 Caves. So I'm just using this, and this has all 16 of the rock and lava chips. So I'm just keeping them all right there for now. It works, you know, plus the artwork matches it. So they're all just staying right in the tube. And it's easy to put them back like you see. You can just stick this right over here. And then over here we have the splice and dice. We have the draw bag and some of these pegs. And that's all that's in this tube as well. And then right here we have 2 dice trays. Now for this one, this is the one I'm going to be pulling out most of the time. Again, playing solo, I don't need all too much. You have the Trove Loot, the Lane dice, the Initiative dice, the D6, and then I got the Round Tracker, and then I got some Status Effect dice. I got the Attack dice with the 2 yellow dice. And you know what? I might actually start in playthroughs. I might actually just start using these like for my attack stat. Especially Carcass, man. God, that playthrough was rough, dude. I gotta redo Carcass at some point. And then I got the defense. This works for the most part, especially playing solo. And with all these status effects, you know, I got the bleed, the poison, as well as the stench and the 1 loot die right here. If I do need additional dice when playing solo for some reason, maybe say the backup plan is full and a lot of baddies have defense, me too, I do have another tray with some more additional dice and some more status effect dice. And then also in the back here, I have the Build a Tyrant dice right here from Splice and Dice. And those are the 2 dice trays. And again, I even have 2 additional. I guess what I should say is, like, when I'm playing, usually I'm just pulling this out. And then if I need to, then I'll go to this. And there are still 2 full trays of dice, all from, you know, Undertow and just more dice in general, that are full that I have. So again, if I'm playing with, you know, 3-4 players and I need even more dice than I have here, then I can bust one of those out and use those. Finally, over here, and there was a suggestion, I think it was by Matt, so shout out to Matt. One of the things that I'm finding in Unbreakable, at least right now, while it's still kind of new to me, is when the rock chips turn to lava, sometimes I'm having trouble remembering that I'm on top of lava or a baddie's on top of lava. So it's hard for me to remember that, and that might be important because the battle might go on and maybe that baddie or yourself were supposed to be losing damage being on the lava space. So what to do to remember that, you know, you're on that space? Well, these tokens right here. So while it's rock, if it turns to lava, I just have 16 of, you know, whatever tokens you want. I just got some orange tokens. These are from Company of Heroes, but stuff like from Zaya works as well. And what's cool about these is, you know, they're kind of like chipped, so it might be like feel a little bit more thematic with the lava. But so what I do is I just sit one of these tokens on there. If you watch my Figment playthrough, I use this and it actually did help me to remember a little bit. So then what'll happen is if there's a baddie on top, you know, I'll keep this here and I have a baddie move on top. I'll sit this on top of the baddie. So when I look at the board, I'll be able to see, okay, he is on lava still. And then as he moves off, put this back on here. So this really helps. You can get orange of, you know, from whatever you want to. You could probably find some from Amazon, but this has really been helping me. So I'm just going to keep a bag of 16 off to the side here, and I'll just use this for whenever I'm playing Unbreakable. And one thing I did want to mention is you might be wondering why I'm keeping these baddies separate from the other tray, which is basically only baddies. Well, that's because once there's 4 of these chip trays in the other drawer, and we'll take a look and I'll show you what I mean. It can be hard to take those out because that other drawer is a little bit thinner. So you can't really get your hands in as well as your fingers in as well as you can with this one. But plus this offers, you know, if you take out one of these or two of these tubes here, you know, you can just move this off and then easily take this out. So it helps out a little bit having some stuff to easily remove, so then you can take out, you know, something that's a little bit heavier and whatnot. So that is this tray. And now let's finally take a look at the baddie tray. All right, and last up we have the tray with all the baddies. So we do have this that came with the Trove Chest, and this is going to separate the loot, Trove loot, and encounters. I really like this. And this is what I was mentioning before about that Trove deck box. I just really got used to just pulling out that whole deck box, putting it in here, taking out the loot, shuffling it up, putting it back in the deck box, and it all just fits in here really nicely. I kept the Trove loot in its deck box. It was just really nice to use. So here are all the baddies. And so at this point, and this is something I've actually been debating, right now they are still separated by type as well as by number. So these are all 1-point baddies of all the different types. In this tray, we have the 5s right here separated, and then we have the double type right here. And these are 1s and 5s right now. I had to combine them because I needed, at first they were separated by, you know, the two types. They come in 1s and 5s and 20s. But I was separating the 1s and 5s with a chip divider. But since I didn't get any new chips in the tray package, I had to figure something out. So what I did was I just removed one from here, used it with the unbreakable stuff, and so I just combined 1s and 5s. So what I'm thinking about is I might just do, you know, say for trolls or for all the types, I might just do like 1s here and then right above it 5s, something like that. Just keep all the types together. We'll see. So for now, that is that. And then over here, I have the 20 pointers. So this is all the 20 pointers from, you know, Splice and Dice, Core, and Undertow. And there are 3 additional ones over here. Over here, I have all of the mechs, as well as a promo. And then this is from 40 Waves as well. And then over here, I have all of the crown. And this is, again, from 40 Waves. And then over here, I have the raft and obstacle chips right here, and that all just fits beautifully right there. So I didn't want to put the other baddie tray in here because what I was mentioning, this tray is a little thinner. As you can see, there's not much room over here. If there was another tray, this would be completely full. There's not much room to get your fingers in like that. It's really hard to take out. I mean, even to take the lid off to potentially get those out. So instead, I still keep this in here so I can just take this out, move this guy back, and now I can easily grab it. And then so I can do that with the other ones. Can't do that with the if the other baddie tray is in here. So I'm still keeping this tray inside of this. Plus, it makes it a little bit lighter. You know, when you're pulling it out, it's not just full of chips. I don't know. That just works for me. For some reason, you know, if I can distribute the weight a little bit more, I'm happy. So that is what I store inside of my Trove Chest. Now, you could have the Cooking with Carcass. You could just set that right on top in this top tray right here. Perfectly fine. It fits well. But instead, I am going to keep it separate with all of the extra stuff that didn't fit inside of here. And you can see there is quite a bit of stuff. Additional, you know, the lane indicators, day trackers. You got chips over here. I have the premium health chips, some of the lighter weight chips, extra deck boxes. We have some chip tubes right here. We have some additional Tyrant trays that I was talking about. We have some dividers for the Trove Chest. We have a bunch of dice trays right here. And I was mentioning I have 2 full trays of additional dice. So if I ever need it, I have them here. And then we have some stickers. And like I was mentioning, I even have a bunch more of the lighter chips already stuffed away. But I am going to keep this in the storage if for some reason I ever want to change up the Trove Chest in some way. Plus, it's just, it feels bad throwing away Chip Theory game stuff, man. It's just such high quality. It just, I don't know. So I'll put all this stuff in storage. So yeah, that is the Trove Chest. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'd be interested to hear what you think about it. Let me know how you're storing your stuff. Are you finding that the loose cards for the encounters, or for all of the cards, is it working well for you? Are you having that experience that they're falling down and it's kind of annoying to pick them back up? And hopefully I gave you some ideas, maybe with the play mats. Again, with the lab rats being separated, for me, it's really not that big of a deal. It's easy for me to, if I'm playing the lab rats, it's fine. I just got to go through a few play mats. You're going to have to anyways if you're going to play with a Gearloc that's down towards the bottom. It's not that big of a deal. It is really helpful for me with the cards, with the deck boxes, like I was talking about, easily pull them out and stuff like that. The labels on some of the deck boxes letting me know what's inside of them. Again, I am going to try to change that a little bit instead of having them be a sticky note. But that is something that I'm going to figure out. For now, it works out. And for the Tyrant Tray with the Automaton of Shale, I think that's something, you might want to do just so he can still be stored inside of a Tyrant Tray with all the rest of the Tyrants. And you can still see it from above. I really like that. And one thing I really might change as well is the Baddies Trays. After I'm done going through Unbreakable, which I have a few playthroughs that are going to be coming out soon, with the 3 remaining Gearlocs, I think I'm going to incorporate all of the Bog, the Orc, and the Trolls in with the rest of the stuff, and just keep the Break type Baddie separate, along with that 20-point Bog type Baddie. We'll see how I do it in the future, but for now, it's working. Really happy with all of it. I think the content that came in this wave is fantastic. I'm really happy with it. The encounters are super cool. I love the new mat, the lava and the rock type stuff. You really get a sense of you're in this underground cavern. It's mysterious. It's dark. You don't know what's coming. I feel it's really thematic, and I've really been enjoying it so far. So that is the Trove Chest. Again, let me know your thoughts. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Give it a thumbs up if you like this sort of stuff. And again, I do a lot of live stream playthroughs, and I have a lot more Too Many Bones playthroughs coming. So if you like that sort of stuff, maybe think about subscribing. Check out and join me with some of the live streams, and I hope to see you there. We have a lot of fun. So thank you guys so much. Again, I hope you enjoyed. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you on the next one. All right, guys. Peace.